Welcome to the Emotional Balance Sheet, the go-to podcast for parents with multiple kids, especially those with twins, triplets, or more, who are navigating the maze of modern family life and personal finance. Whether you're overwhelmed by education or retirement planning, parenting dilemmas, career transitions, or trying to define your purpose and plan, we're here to guide you with empathy, encouragement, and expertise. Hosted by Paul Fenner, founder of Tama Capital, a certified financial planner and parent to 4 kids, including a set of triplets. Our podcast is your ally in the quest for financial peace of mind, proving that money matters, but family comes first. Subscribe now and join our community of empowered parents at tamacapital.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Tama may retain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
What does comprehensive financial planning even mean? At Tama Capital, it means a family office where lifestyle planning such as retirement, college, portfolio management, and tax prep and planning are all under one umbrella. But it goes beyond numbers. We focus as much on the emotional side of financial planning as we do on the financial side. We get you. We understand your challenges of building a family, business or career, and a healthy life. We are devoted to wealth planning for families like yours because we are you. Learn how our family can help your family by visiting tamacapital.com. Hi, and welcome back. This week, I want to talk about something called time wealth, or maybe more specifically, time debt. When I come off of a very busy season, whether it's tax season or planning season or whatever season I may be in, at the end of it, I feel like, yes, I've just gotten through that, which probably is another topic in and of itself. But what I have recently found myself in is time debt, specifically trying to catch up on all the things that I would usually be doing during a busy season like tax season. I'll just keep using that as an example. And working more, if not, actually I'm working more than I was during tax season, because I knew during tax season, that was my main focus. But when that ended, I felt this rush of basically anxiety that, okay, now I needed to go into aggressive mode and catch up. And I think time debt isn't that different from financial debt. But rather than, the interest you pay on your credit card or missing out on opportunities, I think time debt, that interest is paid in stress, exhaustion, and missed opportunities to focus on what's essential, which, as I'm reminded every day, given the life stage that I'm in with my kids and my wife, Teresa, it's really them. And I don't need this smart watch telling me, how much pressure I'm feeling or what my productivity level is or whatever number it wants to spit out. I know I can just look at the hours that I work every week. I can just sit for a second and realize, okay, I'm letting this get the best of me right now. And so I was reading a couple articles by McKeown, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce her name, Laure Lecomte. She was actually on my friend Matt Ziegler's Just Press Record podcast. And I'll put a show note or a link in the show notes to that conversation, what was really great. But she's written a new book called Tiny Experiments. And she focuses a lot on this time anxiety. And from her perspective, it can take several forms. And I'm just going to read these 3 that she provided. Current time anxiety, the feeling of being rushed that makes us feel overwhelmed and panicky. Have you ever felt that way? Yes. Future time anxiety, thoughts about what may or may not happen in the future, which are the cause of worry today. I'm sure we've all experienced that as well. And this last one is existential time anxiety, the sense of lost time slipping away that we're never going to get back. And if you're a parent, young or old, you've probably felt that, because that's one of my drivers right now, is trying to find some kind of harmony between what I love doing as a advisor, supporting the TAMA families I work with, and at the same time being there as a supportive husband and being with my triplets plus one as my triplets finish their last year of middle school and prepare for high school. And likewise, my youngest, still in middle school, and being able to get to all of their activities. And Teresa and I even try to limit that scope, where we tell our kids, you can only do one event at a time. But when you multiply one event at a time by 4, it can get pretty overwhelming and exhausting. And I don't think it matters if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5. It doesn't matter. Every parent could get to that level of exhaustion and feel like the time is slipping away. And I think I noticed this more around holidays, where at one point when they were younger, we were all together. No one was going anywhere. But now as they've gotten older, they have friends that they want to do things with, that, the holidays, the little holidays aren't as, you can just feel them slipping away. And, a good example of that is as simple as an Easter egg hunt. I don't know how many 14 and 12-year-olds really want to do an Easter egg hunt, but Teresa was heck bent on having one, and maybe it was our last one. Or maybe it's a one we do in the future when they're really older, and it's a laugh and we have a good joke about it. But I think you're still trying to hold on to their youth, which sometimes creates additional tension. But if I bring it back to this concept of time wealth, we all know that, time is our most precious finite resource. And when we begin to have awareness of that, I think we can be more intentional about the choices that we make. And again, as Laure points out in her article that I'll put in the show notes as well, we have this fear of being too late, but it's really never too late. And one of the things that she identifies as well, as far as what steps you can take to reduce this time anxiety, the number one point that she makes is defining what time well spent means to you. And this is something that I talk about often. I talk about it with Teresa, my own kids, my TAMA families, is this idea of having awareness and being able to define your purpose and objectives. And that is a strong tie to identifying what time well spent means to you. What does a life less ordinary mean to you? And to be able to, I've said this, sorry, I sound like a broken record, said this before, but I think it's worth repeating, that taking the 5 or 10 minutes to sit and think about these really important things in your life, so that you're not looking back and regretting, or looking back and having time anxiety over the 3 things that I mentioned earlier take hold. So, one of the last interesting pieces on Laure's article was that spending too much mental energy trying to figure out what makes us happy, rather than just doing the things that do make us happy, can also help reduce this anxiety that we're feeling. Now that you've made it to the end of another great conversation, are you looking for more? If so, head over to tamacapital.com, where you will find all of our conversations. Use the search feature to find the topic or guest you would love to learn more about. Also, don't forget to make someone else's day by sharing our show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.